What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour, the 60-second love letter to local sports, brought to you completely and utterly by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you, and it is good to be with you on this beautiful Tuesday. Got the walk in, got the exercise in, got some work done here on this second day of the work week. I hope you are getting stuff done, and I hope I can help you get through the rest of your workday here on the Power Hour. Today, we are scheduled to be joined by a father-daughter duo who I am very close to, and I love very much. I'll just put it out there that way. Donnie Farron, who is the athletic director of the South Range Raiders, and his daughter, Jamie Farron, who Donnie is an assistant softball coach, and Jamie is a senior who just recently was injured her leg, I believe a fracture, if I'm not mistaken, and ended her season and potentially her softball career. And they're scheduled to join us here today. And we're going to keep it upbeat. We're going to ask the tough question, obviously, up front is from your psyche standpoint, how does this factor into it? But as a father, right, looking at that situation that happens to your daughter her senior year, is it different than looking at it from a coach's standpoint? Is it different from looking at it from an athletic director standpoint? And I'm going to say the answer is yes, but we're going to ask Donnie that question. And we're also going to talk about the dialogue that happens between a father and a daughter as we, believe it or not, we head towards Father's Day. And of course, if you know Donnie Farron at all, you know that he's been a great father to his two beautiful daughters. And he is going to be pushing another one out the door and on to college. So we will talk to Donnie and Jamie Farron here coming up in about 5 minutes or so. But until then, listen, a lot to talk about. There is a lot going on in the world of sports, especially here in the area. One of the things that I want to talk about, essentially, is it was brought to my attention yesterday, and I'm going to try not to spend and get too worked up about it because honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, but I know it offended some of our guys. And it's one thing if you're coming at me. It's another thing if you're coming at the work that is being done and performed by some of our people, right? And a lot of our guys are working really, really hard, like around the clock, to make sure that our baseball, softball, and our spring coverage is better than anybody in the area, is better than the majority of stuff of what you're going to get in the world. And I will tell you this, it is point blank. And I'm saying this without bias. If you look at our site compared to others, we are the leader in local sports. We are the leader in local sports, and it's not even close. So saying that, we try to step up our game, and I don't try to put too much on the plate of the people that work here at YSN. But what I will tell you is these guys and gals, they decide, hey, we want to make it better. We want to one-up everything we do. I can name names, right? I can sit there and say this person, that person, this person, that person, but it is a roster of over 60 people that sit there and say, how do we make the experience for our local athletes better in every way? I fought power rankings. I fought rankings for years, fought them tooth and nail, yelled at people for trying to rank teams. And then I realized, hey, we have all these teams. Nobody knows these teams better than we do. Let's rank them. And let's start with 10. So we started with 10. We started in football. We knew we were going to get heat. And we moved on to basketball. Knew we were going to get heat. It's an opinion. But then we put science behind it. We put your wins and losses versus your opponent's wins and losses, how you're beating your opponents, how your opponents are beating you, things of that nature. We put it all in a stew, baby. We're stirring it up. And still, we have people that sit there and go, you're a joke. What you're doing is a joke. What you're trying to do for the kids, their kids, these people that are criticizing what we're trying to do to give your kids a better opportunity to let them stand out, we're being called a joke, and that's okay. You have the right to your opinion. I'm not trying to take that away from you. However, don't be the parent or don't be the guy or gal that says we're a joke whenever it's just not convenient for you. That is where I draw the line. That is where I say, good day, sir, or good day, madam. It is when you are trying to tell me that what we do at YSN or what anybody does in local to try to help your kid or many kids, that is a problem to me. When you say, this is a joke, but this is not. This sucks. This isn't right, but this is. You can't just have ice cream every game. You can't, if you win or lose, right? You don't get ice cream. You sure as hell don't get sprinkles, right? So every time that your kid's nominated or your kid is shined a light upon, you can't sit there and brava, and then when you don't get that highlight, say it's a joke. That is called sensationalism. And that is also being called a jackass. So you have your right, your opinion, which I respect wholeheartedly, 100%. But at the same time, if you're going to just promote what is good for the goose, let's make sure it's good for the gander as well. That is a terrible segue into what I'm going to bring in right now to the Toyota of Warren Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to give you your proper introduction. The athletic director and assistant varsity softball coach of the South Range Raiders, joined by his lovely daughter and leader in like every category ever when it comes to being a defensive specialist and just outright good human being, Jamie Farron and Donnie Farron. How are you?
I'm good today. Getting ready for practice.
Getting ready for practice. I like it. And Mr. Farron, how are you, sir?
It's been a good day, DJ. It's been a real good day today.
That's all that matters. As long as it's a good day for Donnie Farron, I don't care about anything else. But I care a little bit, Jamie. It's been a good day for you. We'll start with a tough question. Do you mind?
Go for it.
All right. How has it been? Take us through, for those who weren't able, obviously YSN was not on campus that day at Hoover. Take us through what happened on that day that ended your year, here in your senior year.
Well, it was actually the first inning of the game, but I was covering second on a double play, and I got the throw, and I landed on the bag, and the girl slid right into my ankle, and it pretty much immediately we knew.
So from that perspective, right? From your perspective, your senior year, your team is just locked and loaded, winning championships. Now you're entering the regionals, right? All this. You had visions of this. I mean, you've made it to the big dance. You've played in the state championship game. This was the team. This was your senior year, right by your teammates. You were cruising. You were red hot at inside the box, and you're defensive. It's going to be hard to replace you. I don't care anybody, not even just on your team, but I personally don't think anybody could replace you in this area the way you play second base. When that happened, what was going through your mind immediately? How were you feeling? How, mentally, physically, emotionally, how did you deal with that?
Well, it was definitely tough, but in the moment we were playing at the same field of our JV team. They were yelling to go get one of their players to hopefully try and fill that spot. But I left early to go get the x-ray, and they had to cut the stirrup off my ankle. Because it ended up being so swollen, and I was like, this isn't good. They took one look at it and said, get the foot too, just in case. But,
so from your perspective, I mean, were you able to compartmentalize this? I mean, was this, obviously as a senior, you feel like you're almost, invincible, right? And especially the way you were playing. I mean, from Myrtle Beach on, kiddo, you were just red hot. What was it like, to show up to your first game, your first practice on crutches, and have to do something that you haven't done a whole lot in your life, and that's kind of sit on the bench?
No, it was definitely hard, especially all the girls around me growing up playing with them. You could see the looks on their faces, and it took a lot in me just to be cheerful and try to support them the best I can, and that's what I'm doing now too. I really want to be there for them. I couldn't ask for better teammates in this situation.
What I've been so proud of, and Dad, I'm going to come at you next, is the way that you've stepped up, the way that you have led from the bench. And it's weird because I can see usually I'm right next to the dugout and I can't see what happens inside the dugout, but we were positioned on the other side and I was able to watch you have conversations with your fellow seniors. I was able to watch you have conversations with your teammates, and Sam Suzanne, who's now basically taken over your spot at second base. If I feel like you're like that quarterback on the sideline that's able to kind of tell her and position her. And I correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard you reposition her during a game and tell her heads up, something's coming. Are you making a transition to coach like right now as a senior in high school from this?
We've definitely been making the joke I'm the third fair on the coaching staff now, but Sam's definitely, I mean, she wants to play for me. It's hard for her. She's never played second before. On our team, we learn especially, Julie's such a strong pitcher. We have me shifted over towards first a lot during the season. I've kind of helped Sam that way too. Just knowing how Julie pitches and where she should line up for who.
Donnie, how has this been for you? I mean, obviously, your baby girl. I mean, she's a senior in high school. You want the world for her. You want a state championship for her, all that stuff. And that happens at Hoover. What was going through your mind?
Just basically, hey, let's try to get up. Let's try to walk it off. Trying to, hope for the best. But normally I don't. If she gets knocked down or something, I don't come out. But just the look on her face, I knew it probably wasn't good. But she ended up trying to play one more play. It's rough. It's really rough.
To watch her, what she's doing now. I mean, obviously that moment, it's fleeting, right? It feels like it lasts forever, but it's a fleeting moment in time. But to see what she's doing now, to being so inspirational, to making an effect on the game and not even it being in the lineup, what makes you most proud about how she's handled this whole situation?
She still wants to be there every day. I mean, it's not just about her. She wants to be there for her teammates. She still wants her teammates to succeed and go as far as they can. And she's going to do whatever she has to do to help them achieve that ultimate goal.
I love it. I love it. I mean, she's got that Farron spirit. There's no doubt about it. If she still wanted to be in there with a broken ankle, with a fractured ankle, that says a lot about who she is and what she means, obviously, to this team. Jamie, when you think about how fast the last 4 years have gone for you, I mean, you were just a baby freshman last time. I mean, I turned around and all of a sudden you're a senior. Couldn't believe it. What are you going to take most from this experience at South Range and being a part of this softball team and playing for your dad, playing for Coach DeRose, playing for some of the great coaches that you've had and that you have? What's the biggest takeaway that you're going to have?
Well, I definitely say just being a part of this team really is a family. I mean, I've grown up, my dad's been around coaching softball for a while now with Coach DeRose. And it's definitely tough leaving, but I think it's given me something to strive for because I'm going education and I hope to be a coach one day as part of this. And being able to be what my dad and Coach DeRose and Coach Sharkey are for everyone else would be a dream.
Is that the first time anybody's ever said it'd be a dream to be like you, Donnie?
Yes. Yes, I can honestly say yes.
But when you hear that, I mean, as a young father, you constantly think about making the right decisions and paving the way for your kids. When you hear that, at 18 years old, that's got to make you feel good about how you've done, the last 18 years as a dad.
It does. I mean, it means a lot. Her older sister, she was on our volleyball staff this year at the middle school level. She's on with our JV softball staff and is helping out with the varsity now. And, just seeing, how, Jamie and Drew have interacted with each other and talked to each other now, it makes me very proud of both of them.
That's phenomenal. All right, let's get down to some nitty gritties. I guess one last tough question for you, Donnie, is when you see all that you've seen, right? How is it different from seeing what you've seen Jamie go through, not just in the last a month or whatever it's been, but this year, How's it different from seeing it from a father's perspective and a coach's perspective?
Wow. As you know, as a father, I always want her to do the best that she can, and um, you know, try to help her in any way I can. As the coach, I can't say that either her or Drew have had it the easiest with me coaching them, just because when you're at practice or a game, you are not my daughter, and you are a player, and if you're not doing it, then I'm going to let you know.
Jamie, what's been the most challenging for you from a standpoint of having dad as a coach?
Actually, last night, Kelly and I were joking around. They went scouting for our tournament game. And she went, what a coincidence. We played so loose tonight and our dads were in here.
But what's been the best part? I mean, there's got to be parts where you look at this and go, how fortunate are you to have your dad to share all these experiences with, whether it be Myrtle Beach, whether it be a state championship runner-up, whether it be all these NE8 championships that you guys have piled up in the trophy case. What are some of those great moments and things that you really will look back here, whether it's next week or 10 years from now, and go, I was really fortunate to have dad in the dugout with me?
Oh, especially during travel, we got to stay a lot together, go do things that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And I mean, just school year, I say we spend so much time together. I'm an office aide for one period at school, then we go to softball, and then we go home. But it's memories that I wouldn't get to make otherwise. And
I love that. If a father and daughter, this is something that doesn't happen often, especially at the varsity level. But it's very, very cool to see when it does. All right. What is the number one rule, Jamie, that you absolutely hate that your dad holds over top of your head?
I want to say if you're 10 minutes early, you're already 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And Donnie, what's the rule that you feel like you've been most lenient with Jamie on?
What have I been lenient on? You go back. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, DJ, because I'm probably harder on her than anybody else.
It's okay. So let's flip it. What is the rule that you feel like maybe you've been too hard on her with?
Jeez, oh man. You gotta give me
I know, putting you on the spot. You're gonna
questions
immediately
ahead of
regret.
time. Remember, I'm old now, so too hard on her. Probably just making sure she's doing every little thing correctly, and that's not a rule, but we don't eat dinner too much together because when we get home from a practice or a game, I always hear, I don't want to talk about it right now. So, I would say that's probably the hardest thing that I've done to her is, carry things over. And when you're home, you should be a dad. And when you're at home, you should not be that coach.
I love it. All right. You talked about making dinner. I know that you're a pretty damn good cook. So Jamie, what is the best thing that Papa Bear makes?
Me and Julie always talk about his banana bread. He doesn't make it often, but Julie loves his banana bread.
Banana bread. All
I'm
right.
not much of a baker, but I mean, I make a good mac and cheese.
Yes, the mac and cheese.
Yeah. Mac and cheese. All right.
You just grab whatever cheeses are in the fridge and you just start putting it in there. And
I love it. It's fair and cheese a la carte. I like it.
Jamie's the baker.
Oh, really?
Oh man, yes.
Okay, so what's the best thing that Jamie makes from the baked goods section?
She just made these things the other day. The little cookies. What kind are they? They're
banana cookies.
They're a banana cookie, but you crushed up some of the vanilla Oreos.
Okay.
And mixed them in with them, and they were good. I mean, they aren't going to last much longer.
Jamie, what has been? Actually, no. We'll start with that. Donnie, what has been your favorite? I mean, when you close your eyes and you think about your daughter, what has been your favorite softball memory that you've shared with Jamie along the way?
I can give you probably two. I mean,
go ahead.
One of the most one of the proudest times I am of her is, playing in the state finals game. But I would probably say last Thursday, seeing her, cheering on her team. She's got her little bubble machine now in the dugout, and supporting the girls when she can't be out there with them. That may be the top of my list of when she's down, she keeps helping.
You said there was another one?
Well, the state finals game.
State final. Okay, got it.
I mean,
right.
There's not a lot of parents that are coaches that get to say they coached their kid in the state finals game.
No, that's awesome. Jamie, how about you? When you think about the times that you get to spend with your dad on the softball diamond, what's one or two of your fondest memories?
I want to say the tournament practices freshman year.
Sophomore year.
Oh yeah, sophomore
year. Well, would have been your freshman playing year, but sophomore year.
What was so special at those?
Well, I mean, once we got deeper into tournament, you could kind of tell we were starting to get nervous, but we put on some music, we did our themes, and he tried to keep it loose for us, cracking jokes, and that's a good memory to have.
I love it. All right. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about Drew. I mean, you three are like the triad when it comes to it. I feel like you're so very much like, and you're almost, what's crazy is you're almost perfect splits of mom and dad at the same time. But I'm around your dad so much, I see those traits in you, good, bad, and different. So from you, Jamie, what's the one thing that you really, really love that you got from your dad as a trait that you carry with you day in and day out?
I don't know if it's a good one, but my competitiveness.
What's one time that you were over competitive and thought, man, I'm so much like my dad?
Anytime we try to decide who's faster, me or Drew. It causes.
Oh, really? Oh, really? This is an interesting topic. Anytime you ask Donnie Farron who's faster, he or anything, he's going to pick him.
Yeah.
I am. Yes, I still am.
Yeah, put a gator somewhere around. We'll see who's faster.
That's you.
Donnie, when you look at your daughter, both daughters, I mean, let's add Drew to this too. Unfortunately, I don't think we ever got to interview her, but what's one thing that you look at them and you're grateful that they get from you and grateful they get from their mother?
Well, I can tell you from their mother, they get their kindness and their smarts. There's no question about that. From me, I'm glad they have that. They both are. They're very competitive people. They don't want to lose. It doesn't matter if they're playing a sport, you're playing euchre. None of them want to lose at anything. So I'm glad they got that. But yeah, like I said, they got their kindness and smarts from their mother. There's no question about that.
I love that. All right. Final question for you both. Donnie, we'll start with you. We'll give Jamie the right to refusal here. With Father's Day right around the corner, what makes you happiest that these young ladies are in your life?
Just what you said, they're in my life. They've both brought me joy, over the last 18 plus years. And, I couldn't ask for two better daughters than I have.
Jamie, flipping it on you. What's with Father's Day right around the corner? What makes you so happy to be your father's daughter?
Well, I can't say it's mac and cheese. Probably just, having him as a coach and a dad, he's definitely been someone I can look up to my whole life. And that's something I get to say and I'm happy about.
That's awesome. What a phenomenal interview. Thank you both so much for your time. Best of luck, Jamie and Donnie, coaching the rest of the way. Last question, Jamie, sorry to just bring this up. Would you ever consider making a comeback and getting back on the diamond if everything's healthy and you're feeling good?
I don't think I'll be able to.
I asked the question when we went to the surgeon when they were talking about putting pins in it. And I said, if we could put the plate and pins in Friday, would she be able to come back in a couple weeks? And he sort of laughed at me and said, no, that's not going to happen.
I think every dad's got to ask the question, right?
Yeah.
Until they tell you no.
That's correct. That's correct.
You two are awesome. So happy that you were able to make time for us today. And happy Father's Day, Donnie, to you. And
You also,
hopefully,
DJ.
thank you. I appreciate that. Jamie, continued success. Obviously, you're someone that is in our lives and embedded in the lives of our kids. And I can tell you from my standpoint, and obviously from my wife's, if our daughter grows up to be anything and half of what you are, we've done an awesome job. So Donnie, that speaks highly of you, and Jamie, even more so of you. Congratulations on all the success. We wish you nothing but the best moving forward. And if we can ever help in any way, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank you for having us.
You got it. There they go. Listen, two of the great ones, two of the absolute great ones. Donnie Farron has been a great friend of mine, close enough to be a brother. So much that the kids call him Uncle Donnie. And Jamie, it's hard to even fathom that she's a senior, in a tough blow that she dealt. But listen, it's not what happens when good things. It's not how you act, I guess, when good things happen to you. It's how you react when your back's up against the wall. This young lady trained her entire life to get where she is right now, and she was dealt a bad hand, and she's still making the most out of that poker hand and helping her teammates to the best of her ability. That is what separates winners from everybody else and leaders from everybody else. And Jamie Farron is certainly walking that path of leadership that her dad has been blazing for years and years. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to revisit what we started off the show with that whole idea of being able to stay in your lane and what we do here at YSN and what the media is doing and about the journalistic integrity that we bring to the table. All that and more when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, powered by our friends over at Toyota of Warren.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Clint. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists.
Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers. Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you. Appreciate you being with us here on this Tuesday. Let's catch up on some of the comments. And Jimmy Powers out there in cyberspace checking in on his hometown says, when does the AD and coach have time to cook? You're probably spot on. I know Donnie does. He loves being able to get out into these local restaurants. I know that he knows them better. If I need if I have a question, where do I go? Donnie Ferrin is usually the top of that list. And I say, hey, I'm in this city. Where do I go? Boom. It's Donnie Ferrin and Gary Niddle. Those guys know all the spots, and they know good food. They know good food when it hits them. And Jimmy also chimed in saying he is one of the best. He absolutely is. And also, it is way better than most big cities. I'm guessing he's talking about how we kicked off the show, and kind of our coverage, the YSN coverage of it. And then you go to Anthony Hartwig, who, listen, this is my guy, the dean of local girls sports. He knows everything, and he's got a mind like a steel trap. And he says, a great family in the school system. Go also check out some of the backlogged interviews with Drew Ferrin from volleyball and softball seasons in years past. Just fantastic people. I couldn't agree more. Jimmy, still watching, says, yes, that's exactly what he's talking about. And that's exactly what we're going to shift. I don't know how to drive stick, but I can imagine that it looks something like this. We're going to shift that to our next topic. First off, do not send me emails about how I need to learn to drive stick. We're going to sidestep that one. So again, kind of where we started this show before our interview was we are trying. So originally, let's backdate this a little bit, right? Let's go back to 2017, and let me tell you how a little company called YSN started. We started because there was a void, huge void in local sports, right? To the point where no teams were getting coverage, right? Except if you were a certain one or two teams, 3 teams max in this area, right? My goal with YSN was, in talking to Brian, I said, if we had something that could document local sports in this area and only focus on sports, whether it's Pee Wee football, whether it's flag football, or whether it is the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, right? Right up the ladder. But there's a way that you have to do it that I didn't know. There's so much that I've learned in the last 6.5 years that I had no clue about. And part of it was you have to get contracts in order to cover schools on a regular basis. It's not as easy as just rolling in. That and a bunch of other reasons is why you don't see the local news going and broadcasting every single game. That, and because they would get slaughtered because they only can go to where they sell advertisement for, where that's how we started. That's how this engagement started. If we can be a localized mothership of sports for Leetonia, for Salem, for South Range, for Crestview, the 4 original schools. We went to 29 of them, and we got turned down 29 times. Then we went to those 4, and they said yes. They said, we're willing to give it a shot, right? So from 4 schools halfway through the football season, when we are just literally plugging our cell phones into, headsets into cell phones, and we are broadcasting audio football games, right? Then it turns into 8 teams. Hey, we like what you're doing. Would you be willing to do that for us? East Liverpool, Girard, and a couple other ones join in. We really like the attention that you're giving to these players. Fast forward to 2023 from 2017, and you have over 60 schools, to which you have 60, essentially, 1099 employees, part-time employees, contractor employees that, hey, I only want to cover this one, or guys that like Anthony Hartwig that say, tell me where to go, and I'll do it. And juggling all of this, right? We've gone from just being an audio broadcast that does some graphics, really bad graphics at the time, and just promoting kids to what YSN has become. And I'm going to take my modesty hat off for just a moment, because I am very modest about where we are. I still think we are on the 4-yard line, looking at 96 yards straight in the face. However, what I will tell you, is that over the last 6.5 years, we have developed a chip on our shoulder and a work ethic that has followed us around. That we have guys that are putting stories up at all times of the night on our website, ysnlive.com. We have grown from just a podcast into from a basement, right, and a broadcast under a subwoofer to a well-established, borderline feared commodity in the community. Because they know when YSN comes to town, we come with the best intentions. When YSN does something, we do it with the best intentions. That's why it's frustrating, incredibly frustrating. And listen, I know that I've got thick skin. I know that our guys have thick skin. But when somebody's working on trying to help and establish something that will potentially help student athletes in our area, even if it's something like a power rankings that is very objective, it's very opinionated. I'm not saying don't comment on it and don't show frustration or don't question it. That's not what I'm saying. But when I have people, and I mean plural, not many, but it's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. When someone comes at my baby and the people that are supporting my baby, you get a little frustrated. You get a little anxious. You get a little suspicious, especially when those people are looking for awards for their own kids. And listen, I get it. I understand it. But I will also tell you on the flip side of that coin that today I received a phone call from someone who will remain nameless and faceless at this moment, but they know who they are. That called and said, listen, I know you probably get hammered for people, and I'm not going to lie to you. I respect this guy a ton, or gal. You don't know. You don't know. I almost blew it. But this person calls and they say, I just wanted to tell you, I know your award season is here. It's coming up. You're going to do all these awards. You're going to do the All-Star game. You're going to do all this. I just wanted, and before he even started, my mind went somewhere to where it typically goes. Because let me tell you how those phone calls usually go. It usually goes, hey, have you seen my kid's stats? Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And I appreciate it. Golly gee, do I appreciate it. I love it. I'm not complaining. What I'm telling you is what I typically get, because every parent is trying to advance the ball for their kid, their own. Because listen, every father, we just saw it, every father, every mother wants their kid to have their 5 seconds of fame. And I get it. We're here for it. We do it on a daily basis. But let me tell you something. I know I've been complaining about somebody ripping what we do at YSN. But this gentleman, this person on the other side of that phone, again, hey, I know it's award season. I know you guys are ramping up, but let me tell you one thing about this person. I sat back, I had my phone here. I took it back and I was like, wow. I don't hear that often, that someone calls and says, player X, Y, and Z get the headlines, but look at what this player's doing. I was blown away. That is what we need to see more of. That is what I appreciate the most. That is what I love. I love that. That goes a lot further. And not that your kid's not important, right? Not that your kid isn't lighting the world on fire, because maybe they are. But when I get a parent, and don't do this, don't try to trick me. When I get a parent that isn't promoting their own kid and promoting somebody else, that goes a long way. That goes a long way. Coaches are supposed to do that for all their players, right? Players are supposed to do that for other players. But when you get a parent that says, look at this kid, look at the season they're having. Whoa. Eye-opening. Eye-opening. Like, shake me, pinch me, do something. Like, what just happened here? So I don't want to, like, I'm not a negative person. I don't want to get into the habit of complaining about people that put down YSN. Listen, they're out there. They're going to be there because they have their affiliations with the X, Y, or Z. That's fine. Don't care. Don't ask for awards. Don't tell me my baby's ugly and then your baby is the most handsome kid in class. That probably won't go well. It probably won't go well. And I'm not saying we can't take criticism because we do all the time. Listen, it's a daily part of my routine. Is I go up, I look at my email, I take criticism, I go online. You do the one thing that you're not supposed to do on the internet and you look at the comments. Listen, I get it. I understand it. You're looking at somebody who takes criticism every single day. And the best thing about my job is that they go, oh my gosh, you don't have to answer to anybody. You're your own boss. No, false. Let me tell you, I don't have one boss. I have all of them. Like, it's your sports network. We are for you. We're here for you. And some people take that a little bit literally. they take that a little bit to task. I'm okay with it, right? I've learned to live with it. I've learned to control it a little bit. Take what you guys say and how do we benefit everybody from it? That's the goal. That is the goal. So in a span of 24 hours, I get kind of the best and the worst of it. And it evens itself out. It balances itself out, which I loved, right? Because you have one guy saying that you guys are a joke and another guy saying you guys make a difference. And you can make a difference with this one person. There is such a thing it's called journalistic integrity. And you don't have to be a journalist to utilize it. In the world of social media, parents, teammates especially, if it's out there and you are promoting your player or another player, we want to promote that. We love that. Like, listen, there's nothing that gives me more joy than when we have our staff, Brendan Miller, you've got Anthony Hartwig, Sam Torres, you look at Chris Sigler, Quinn Pushkar, these guys making graphics for what we do, and it goes out and it gets a ton of engagement. I love it. Don't tell them, and they're probably not listening, but the only thing that gives me more joy than that is when we have a teammate that does the same thing and we share that. We promote that. Or a school that does it and we promote it. I love that. I love seeing schools promoting their student athletes. I love seeing, even more than that, I love seeing parents promoting other parents' student athletes, and student athletes promoting their teammates is the tops for me. It's the tops. Absolutely love it. Why? Because that is what you need in the real world to survive. In the world of Ben Roethlisberger versus Kenny Pickett. If you don't know that, look it up. In the world of Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. And if you don't know that, what rock have you been living underneath? In the world of competition, right? Every competitor wants every headline. I live it. I've done it. I want it. You get mad, you get angry because somebody else got it. If you listen to the podcast from Ben Roethlisberger 2 days ago, right? He said, I don't want Kenny Pickett to succeed because I don't want people to forget about me. And there's a little bit of that in sports, a lot of bit of that in sports nowadays, because people have a fear that they're going to be forgotten about. That's why you see kids listing their own stats. That's why you see, and listen, I can appreciate listing your stats. We talked to Evan Tice the other day. He's been doing it since he was a freshman. The kid has a knack for it. But I will tell you this. On top of that, Evan also gives kudos to his teammates on his social media, and it's beautiful. It's awesome. If I'm a coach at the next level and I look at Evan Tice's profile and his Twitter or whatever it is, or his Instagram, I sit there and I go, whoa, not only is he promoting himself, but he's promoting his teammates. And that's important to him. So I want to be in his circle, right? I want him to promote me, not necessarily in an egotistical kind of way, but aren't those the kind of people that we should want to be around, as people that promote us and we promote them? Like, that's your circle right there. Those are the people you want to be around. Those are the people you want to go to war with. Those are teammates. Teammates that are getting it done on the field and off the field. We're just trying here at YSN to be a good teammate. You let us in and we play ball. We're going to make you look good, feel good, and hopefully we make you play well too. And let me tell you something. Over 60 different clients, over 60 different schools feel that way. They feel that special. That's why it's so awesome to me. And it's a pinch yourself moment when you have people that say, hey, do you understand the influence that you have by just saying somebody's name, by just putting them out there and shining a light on them? And you just don't shine a light on one, you shine a light on many. And someday we will shine a light on all. So I guess what I'm getting at is, if you're out there and you have constructive criticism, we don't shy away from it. In fact, we welcome it. But if you're somebody that's out there and you're only criticizing because you didn't get your way and you're going to take your ball and go home, do as you wish. Do as you wish. But on the other side, if you're a parent who's all about it and means it, or you're a teammate that's all about it and all about your teammates and mean it, we want to help you get out there. One of the most impressive stories I've ever heard is a young gentleman who was above average at baseball, went into a coach's meeting when he was trying to be recruited, in a very similar situation to the one we've been talking about, where he sits down with a coach and the coach says, tell me your stats. And the kid says, I think I'm batting somewhere in the high 300s, maybe 400 tops. You know, I play corner outfield. Like, not interested in his own stats, which, you know, for 20 years ago, it's about the norm, because we didn't have Game Changer. We didn't have things like that. You had to wait for the end of the year stats to figure out what you were doing, unless your parents or somebody was keeping stats for you throughout the year. But the coach, when he was done asking that player about his stats, he asked about his teammates' stats and how his teammates were. And this young gentleman says, well, I've got a pitcher that is going to break the record for strikeouts in a season at our school. I've got a first baseman who's going to break the home run record for a season at our school. Our middle infield plays, you know, they have some of the best double plays that you're ever going to see. At the time, it was, you know, Omar Vizquel and Roberto Alomar were very popular. They were the second coming of Roberto Alomar and Omar Vizquel. Our third baseman, our quarter infielder, is a freshman who, you know, is already batting 400. He's a singles hitter, but he's going to start going gap to gap. He also is working on power in the offseason, getting in the weight room. Coach says, stop right there. I've heard enough. I want you to be part of our team. And the player kind of shakes it off, looks at his parents. The parents are befuddled. And the young man says, Coach, I don't understand. I sat here for 25 minutes talking about my teammates and could barely get out 2 stats for myself. And the coach goes, I'm not worried about, we've seen you play. I'm not worried about what you bring to the table on the field. We're looking for a culture here in our locker room. We're looking for a culture in the clubhouse. I want kids and young men that care about their teammates and are more interested in their teammates than they are about their own stats. In 30 minutes, you provided me everything that we're trying to do to change the culture here. That young man went on to play 4 years of baseball, get a degree from that established university, and go on to do great things in his profession, not baseball. But in conversations with his parents, conversations even with him, that young man would not have gone to college. Not that it's the only thing to do, right? Great respect for the trades. That young man would not have gone to college, would not have met his wife, would not have 3 beautiful children, and life would look a lot different. And right now, he is a great coach, up-and-coming coach for where his kids are. And he remembers and tells me that story every single time we talk. Because his kids are exactly the same. They are the ones cheering on the bench for their team. If they strike out, they don't throw their helmet, they don't throw their bat, they don't try to make a scene and make it about them. They're the first in line for the handshakes, right? They're leading the team. If somebody strikes out, they're putting their arm around them the same way this young man did. I'm telling you, if you have a chance to prop up someone else, whether it's on your team or otherwise, do it. Do it. Not because you're worried about how this is going to affect you negatively, but how it's going to promote them positively. Do it. Absolutely do it. Because you never know who's watching. You never know who's waiting for that particular person, for that particular moment, and what culture you're going to be able to change. Leaders come in all shape and sizes. And certainly, I think we as adults have to lead the way. But it's pretty cool when the kids do it too. Let's hit the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything residential, commercial, anything industrial, make sure anything that goes zap, really. Anything at all that is connected to an electrical line, make sure you contact my good buddy Eric Carlson and his friends over at Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them today at Dickey Electric. Pulled the trigger too early. It's DickeyElectric.com, just for the record. So my spark is, speaking of Joe Dickey Electric, I get to go hang out with Eric Carlson tonight and hang out with the Notre Dame football coach. I'm excited. I mean, if there's one thing that I've learned over the last 6.5 years, it's that football coaches really know how to tell a story. And they know how to get their point across in the most interesting of ways. And I'm really excited. I think this is one of the best up and coming coaches in our country, college or otherwise. I really do. And I'm excited to hear what he has to say. I'm excited to spend a night with, some folks that are sports minded and professionals in their own right. So thank you, Eric Carlson. I know that you hate it when I do this stuff. Thank you a million times over for the invitation. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow, folks, you can be the next great voice of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. We're going to be at Eastwood Field from 5 to 7 tomorrow night, and you can be there too. All you have to do is show up. We'll get the applications processed as well. You can fill it online now. All you got to do is go to the Scrappers website, fill that out ahead of time, and we'll get you in, get you out. And we'll see if you are the next voice of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. Remember, this year, it's going to be video. We have video. The MLB Draft League has already stamped that. We're excited for it. And you have the chance to make history and be the next Mahoning Valley Scrappers play-by-play announcer. All of that tomorrow, Eastwood Field, 5 to 7 at the home of the Scrappers. I will be on hand. Hope to see you there. Certainly, if you think that what we do is something that you can do, certainly we will we'll put it to the test. And listen, worst case scenario, you could end up broadcasting for YSN. This summer we've got all kinds of games that we're doing, Little League as well as Bob Scene Park, and a couple twists along the way that we'll be telling you about shortly. Big announcement as well coming out tomorrow right here on the YSN Power Hour. We will announce the official date of the YSN All-Star Baseball game coming up here very shortly. So not a whole lot of time to get ready for it. The announcements will come in the coming weeks. Anthony and myself and a few other of the guys are going to get together and make sure that every single school is represented in some form or fashion. And we will have the best of the best here on YSN once again at Scene Park. And we will give you the date tomorrow right here on the YSN Power Hour. Until then, special thank you to our friends, Donnie Farron and Jamie Farron, for stopping by the show today. A great, great interview. You can see it on ysnlive.com. Hopefully tonight as we get this turned around, maybe worst case scenario tomorrow morning. But thanks to them for coming on. Thanks to our sponsor, Toyota of Warren, for continuously allowing us to do what we do each and every day here on the YSN Power Hour. And certainly thanks to our other sponsors as well. And thanks to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope we made your day a little bit more tolerable. Hope we can get you home on time and a little bit happier and a little bit more positive. So that's going to do it for our show. Catch us tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the YSN Power Hour, presented by our friends, the Toyota of Warren. See ya. YSN, thanks.